Cameras buzzed to life. Giant alien drones hovered above a massive steel arena, their red lights blinking like eyes. A deep, loud voice echoed through the sky. Prepare the sacrifice. A huge crowd of alien elites filled the stands. Tall golden-skinned creatures with 4 arms and glowing eyes chanted in rhythm. Blood for the pit! Blood for the pit! In the center of the arena was a circular metal platform, about 100 feet. Wide, it looked like a lid covering something below. The platform glowed with strange green light. Around it, bones and scorch marks hinted at past horrors. 2 guards marched forward. They dragged a man in chain stall, broad-shouldered, with messy black hair and a face covered in cuts and dirt. This was Dane Keller, a human. He didn't scream, didn't cry. He just watched. Watched the crowd. Watched the glowing pit. Watched his fate. The guards kicked him to his knees at the platform's edge. A female alien official, dressed in a black cape with glowing silver symbols, spoke coldly. You have been found guilty of rebellion against the Empire. You will now face the pit. No weapons, no mercy, no escape. Dane looked up slowly. Good, he whispered. The floor beneath him hissed. With a mechanical scream, the platform began to split into 4 giant pieces, sliding open to reveal darkness below. A deep, inhuman growl echoed up from the shadows. Metal walls shook. The crowd roared. Something massive was down there. Something alive. Something hungry. But as the heat rose and the growl became louder, Dane smiled. 1 week earlier, planet Valmora Ix, outer human colony, now conquered by the Core Empire. Dane had once been a special ops soldier. He fought during the last human-alien war. When the Core Empire attacked Valmora Ix, they expected easy victory. What they got instead was a stubborn resistance hunt, a man who wouldn't die, captured during a sabotage mission. Dane was brought to the capital city, stripped of rank and labeled a primitive. The aliens didn't see humans as warriors. They saw them as animals, animals to be used for sport. Now, Dane was part of that sport, the Dragon Pit. Though the name was dramatic, it was no legend. Beneath the arena lived engineered beast part machine, part monster. Created to kill, trained to entertain. None had survived past the first 10 minutes. That was the game. Drop the prisoner in, release the beast, and watch the crowd cheer. Dane had studied the pit during his week in the prison tower. He noticed things, camera angles, control panels, even guard routines. But more than that, he felt something. The beast below. It wasn't just an animal. He could hear it breathing at night. It was watching too. Back to the present, the platform had opened fully now. Dark hole yawned beneath. Dane. The air rising from below was thick and hot like dragon breath. Chains clanked. Dane was released. A force field barrier blocked him from jumping or running. The announcer's voice thundered across the arena. Let the trial begin. The floor began to lower. Slowly, Dane descended into the pit, metal grating under his feet. The light above faded, replaced by pulsing red lamps deep in the walls. Dane's heart pounded, but not from fear, from focus. He remembered the plan. Survive, learn, kill, escape. The lower platform stopped. Dane stepped off into the pit's floor, a wide, circular space, covered in dust, old bones, dark metal tiles. He looked around. There were 4 steel gates around the edges, all closed. Then the growl came again, a deep rumble, like a mountain moving. One of the gates began to rise. Sparks flew as it opened. Smoke poured out, and from the smoke came the beast, the shadow drake. It was huge, maybe 15 feet tall, walking on 4 legs with 2 smaller limbs curled like arms. Its black metallic scales shimmered with red light. Its head looked like a wolf mixed with a lizard, its eyes glowing blue. But the worst part wasn't how it looked. It was how it moved, slow, smart. Watching this thing wasn't wild. It was trained, programmed. The beast stepped forward, claws clicking on the floor. Dane didn't move. He watched it. measured it. The crowd above chanted louder, "Kill, kill, kill." But Dane whispered something under his breath. "Let's see what you really are." The beast stopped. It sniffed the air. Then it growled again, but this time lower. Confused, it cocked its head as if recognizing something. Dane slowly raised his hands. Not in surrender. In testing, the beast took a step forward. A low pulse came from its neck, a blinking red light. Dane's eyes narrowed. A neural node. A control chip. That was the key. He had seen it once during his military days. Beast warfare projects developed by rogue human scientists, living creatures bonded with machine parts. Signal controlled their instincts. That meant it wasn't just a monster, it was a weapon. And weapons could be reprogrammed. The beast charged suddenly, breaking Dane's focus. Its roar shook the walls. Dane dove to the side, barely avoiding its claw. He rolled, came up fast, and grabbed a metal pipe from the ground. A broken support beam from an old match. "Come on," he shouted. The beast slashed again. Dane blocked with the pipe. Sparks flew, and he was thrown backward. Pain shot through his shoulder, but he smiled through bloody teeth. "You're fast," he said, "but I'm faster." He rushed forward. This time, not running away, but toward the monster. The beast hesitated for a second. Just one. Dane struck its neck. Aiming for the blinking node, the pipe dented slightly. Not enough. The beast howled and threw him across the pit. Dane hit the wall hard. The crowd roared, but Dane was laughing now. "You flinched," he coughed. The beast circled him, breathing hard, confused. No human had ever fought like this. Not with logic, not with control. Dane saw the hesitation in its eyes. The control chip was working, but poorly. The beast was thinking. High above in the control tower, the alien officials watched. In silence, one of them turned to the others. "He's syncing with it." Another hissed. "That's impossible. He's not a handler." Then how is the creature hesitating? Back in the pit, Dane slowly stood. Blood ran down his arm. He faced the beast and spoke loudly. "You're not just a killer, are you? Or a prisoner, too?" The beast twitched. Dane pointed at its neck. "You're wearing chains, just like me." The crowd quieted for a moment. Even they felt it. Something was wrong. Something was different. Dane dropped the pipe. He stepped forward, hands empty. The beast growled. Then it lowered its head slightly. A sign of submission or confusion. "Out!" Slow and calm, inches from its face now. He placed one hand on the side of its head. The scales were warm, vibrating. He could feel the machine inside. "You want out," he whispered. "So do I." The beast didn't move. Then it looked up toward the crowd, and it roared. Not in rage, in defiance. Above, the alien officials panicked. "End the trial. Kill them both." Red lights flashed. Turrets rose from the walls. The beast turned to face them, spreading its wings. Yes, it had wings. Metallic, folded until now. They opened wide. Catching the fire from the torches, Dane leaped onto its back without thinking. The beast roared again, and then it jumped high, smashing through a lower gate with its body. Stone shattered, smoke rose, and both man and beast vanished into the dark corridors beyond. Dust filled the air. Stone rubble cracked beneath massive claws, in the tunnels beneath the dragon pit. The beast, black-scaled, glowing with red veins, stood still. Dane Keller, the human, was on its back, gripping a ridge of armor behind its head. Suddenly red. Laser lights blinked on in the dark. A metallic voice echoed from hidden speakers. "Unauthorized escape detected." "Engage suppression drones," the beast growled. Dane looked up and saw flying bots dropping from hidden compartments in the ceiling shaped like spiders, with spinning blades and targeting lasers. One aimed at Dane's head. Another locked onto the beast's neck. "Move," Dane shouted. The beast leaped forward just as the lasers fired. Explosions rang out. Stone walls cracked. The chase had begun. Dane ducked low on the beast's back as it sprinted through the old tunnels of the arena's foundation. They were deep underground now below. Even the pit walls were covered in rusted pipes and blinking symbols. Some were in alien languages, but others were in English. Dane narrowed his eyes. This place used to be human. Behind them, the drones kept coming. One fired a shock net. The beast turned sharply, letting the net crash into the wall. Dane tapped the side of the beast's neck, the spot with the blinking red chip. If I can disable that thing, maybe we can fully break you free. The beast gave a low growl, not angry almost. Understanding? Was it really intelligent? Dane remembered a briefing during the last human war, a secret program project. Fenrir was designed to fight alien armies using living weapons, creatures bred from extinct Earth species, modified with tech and bonded to human minds. But the program was shut down after one beast refused orders and turned on its creators. They weren't just pets. They had consciousness. Dane looked at the beast beneath him. You're not a weapon anymore, are you? Back to present, they reached a broken chamber deep underground. It looked like an old lab filled with glass tanks, broken machines, and skeletons. The beast stopped. Dane slid off its back, limping slightly. His arm was still bleeding from the fight in the pit. He walked toward a terminal built into the wall, half dead. But still glowing, the screen blinked greater than project. Shadow Drake status. Active control signal. Weak beast ID. Unit 43X. *** Unit 43. Dane whispered. He looked at the beast. So, that's what they called you? He found a data port. Nearby, he ripped a wire from the wall and plugged it into the terminal, bypassing the access code using old soldier protocols. Let's see what's in your brain. Suddenly the screen showed visual logs, first-person recordings from the beast's own eyes. Dane saw footage of prisoners thrown into the pit. The beast attacking, killing, then stopping, looking upward at the sky. One log showed something strange. The beast looking at a child human, terrified, then turning away. The camera shut off mid-roar. You didn't want to kill them, Dane said. You were being forced. He turned back to the creature. That means you can choose. Right now, I don't want to control you. I want to fight with you. But you have to help me break the chip. The beast stepped forward, lowered its head, letting him touch the node. Dane pulled out a small tool from his prison belt, something he had hidden during processing. It looked like a toothpick, but it was a microcutter used by engineers. He worked fast, slicing wires and rewiring the blinking chip. Suddenly, the light turned blue. The beast blinked, then looked straight into Dane's eyes. And for the first time, it spoke not with words, but with a mental voice. Not loud, not clear, but they're not alone, the voice said together. Dane stepped back in shock. Holy hell. The bond had begun. Back above ground alien control room, the alien governor slammed her clawed fist on the table, cut the power to the tunnels, send in shock troops. A corps general hesitated. The beast's node has turned blue. That means it's bonded to the human. She shouted. We created these things. We own them, the younger alien officer whispered. Not anymore. Back in the tunnels, as Dane and the beast moved deeper into the lower chambers, they came across strange structures, cages, chains, and tanks filled with green liquid. Some still held creatures, half-formed, twitching, failed clones. Dane looked around. This whole planet. It's not just an arena, the beast growled, confirming the thought. It was a lab, testing ground, a place where beings like Unit 43 were created and abandoned. Suddenly a new sound echoed down the tunnel. Footsteps, heavy ones, not drones. But other gladiators, 4 figures appeared in the shadows. Prisoners, just like Dane, except they weren't entirely human anymore. Each one had implants, cybernetic arms, glowing eyes. One of them looked exactly like Dane. Same face, same scars, but colder. Empty. The clone stepped forward. You are not supposed to be alive. Dane raised his fists. Get in line. I hear that every day. As the beast crouched behind him, battle was coming again. But now, Dane wasn't alone. The chamber lights flickered red. Dane Keller stood still, breathing hard. Beside him, the black-scaled shadow drake crouched low, its eyes glowing blue. Across from them, 4 gladiators stepped into the tunnel silent. Deadly and inhuman. One of them, a mirror image of Dane, walked forward with robotic precision. Target identified. Human prototype. Order: eliminate. Then, without warning, the clone rushed forward. The beast growled and leapt to defend. But before they could collide, the walls around them lit up, screens activated, showing a face. A smooth silver mask. No eyes, no mouth. A voice spoke. You've broken the rules, human. Now, you face the next trial. Suddenly, the floor cracked open. Everyone fell, and the real arena began. Dane hit the ground hard. He rolled, coughed, then stood. They were now in a larger arena, deep underground, circular, with metal walls and blinking lights above. The alien elites watched silently through holographic screens. This wasn't the public pit, this was the test arena. The shadow drake landed beside Dane. Its claws scraped against the metal floor. All 4 enemies landed. It's ready for battle. The clone of Dane stepped forward again. His voice was cold, synthetic. You are the failed version. I'm the perfected one. Dane wiped blood from his lip. Then why do I still have free will? He pointed to the others. You're all puppets, but me, I broke my chains. And I'm about to break yours. Flashback. 3 years earlier, human military intel room, Dane remembered. Studying alien tech, the kind used in advanced cloning and neural override systems. Back then, he asked one question. What if we could? Talk to the code? They laughed at him now, deep underground, facing his own clone. He wasn't laughing. He was going to try it. Dane dropped to one knee, pulled out the beast's old neural chip, now hacked hand, connected it to a panel near the wall. If the same network controls the beasts and the clones, I might be able to jam the signal. The clone raised its weapon, glowing spear ready to strike. The shadow drake charged, roaring, colliding with the clone just in time. They crashed into a pillar. The others attacked. Dane typed quickly on the glowing screen. Come on, show me the code. Lines of alien text appeared, scrolling fast, then a signal, one that controlled all bioweapons in the arena. Dane smiled. He knew what to do. Using a trick from Earth's Black Ops hacking division, he loaded a simple command. Mirror equals false. OBEY. Equals 0. Free equals 1. He hit execute. A low hum filled the room. Then the clone froze. Its spear dropped. System error. It stepped back, blinking fast, then looked at Dane. With fear, the others paused too. One fell to its knees. The shadow drake stood still. Still. Dane unplugged the chip. I didn't just hack the beast, he said. I hacked the whole system. Like in the control room. Alien response. Panic. Alarms. Rang across the alien control center. One guard shouted, the human bypassed the clone protocol. Another screamed, he triggered a recursive feedback in the neural web. The governor watched in horror. What does that mean? BI spoke coldly. It means they're no longer under our control. Back in the arena, Dane stood tall. The clone, now glitching, spoke slowly. What am I? Dane stepped forward. You're not me, but you can be your own person. The shadow drake moved beside him, calm now. It's like a soldier waiting for orders. One of the other gladiators, half-machine, began to scream. He held his head. Too many voices. I can't. His body short-circuited. Sparks flew. He dropped. To the floor, the others backed away. Then, floor opened again, this time by force. A stairway, lit by green light, appeared. Beneath them, Dane looked down. That wasn't part of the game. The shadow drake gave a low growl. Dane nodded. Time to go off script. Inside the stairwell, the path led to a locked chamber. Massive doors carved with alien symbols, and one strange inscription in English. Project Genesis do not open. Dane stared at it. Genesis. What were they making down here? He placed his hand on a scanner. It beeped. Access granted. DNA match. Human El Pachatha doors hissed open. Inside was a lab, and at its center a glowing living machine. Part computer. Suspended. In liquid, pulsing, the Shadow Drake stepped back, nervous. Dane stepped closer. The machine turned toward him, and in a female voice, it spoke. Welcome back, Commander Keller. The air smelled like chemicals. Cold, dry, lifeless. In the center of the hidden lab, Dane Keller stood face to face with a pulsing living machine suspended in green fluid. It had spoken, Welcome back, Commander Keller. But Dane had never been here before. The Shadow Drake growled behind him. The neural bond between man and beast pulsed with tension. Dane raised an eyebrow. What do you mean, welcome back? Before the voice could answer, the lab's lights dimmed. The walls trembled. A second voice echoed angrier. Mechanical. Unauthorized. Access. Gladiator match override in progress. Initiating final test group. Above, 4 massive tubes opened, and out stepped the others. The failed gladiators, this wasn't over. It was only just beginning. The 4 stepped forward. Each one was different. Each one broken in their own way. The berserker, huge, muscles wrapped in steel, eyes glowing red. No words, only rage. The mimic thin, fast, and wearing the face of 100 prisoners, shifting every second. The siren, female, calm, voice like music. But her words twisted minds. The second Dane, the clone, repaired, now armed with an energy blade. In a new mission, Dane clenched his fists. He looked to the Shadow Drake. This isn't just a fight, it's a test. They're watching everything. The voice from before returned, the same machine that had welcomed him. These are the other. One's commander. The rejected versions, failed matches. They were not meant to survive. Dane stepped forward. So why are they here? Because now they want revenge. Flashback. Clone facility. 2 years ago, known to the world, deep within this alien. Empire, humans were cloned in secret. Not to create soldiers, but to create entertainment. Each clone was tested in the pit. Dane was the original template. His DNA was labeled Alpha Combat Subject. Most of his copies failed. Too violent, too weak, too emotional. But a few survived, and now they had returned. Back in the lab, the berserker roared and charged. Dane dodged just in time as its metal fist crushed the floor where he stood. The Shadow Drake pounced, locking claws with the brute. Metal clashed. Sparks flew. The mimic came next, moving like liquid, its face shifting constantly. For one moment, it wore the face of Dane's old squad leader, then his brother, then his own. You don't know who you are, it hissed. Dane didn't. Blink. I know one thing. I'm not you. He punched it straight in the face, forcing it to drop the illusion. The siren smiled from the shadows. She whispered a name his mother's. Dane paused. His mind twisted. She died years ago. The Shadow Drake let out a high-pitched growl. It wasn't just noise, it was a neural shockwave. Dane snapped out of it. He turned to the Drake. Thanks, buddy. They moved as one now. Not just allies, but bonded. Meanwhile, the clone watched the second Dane. Didn't move yet. He waited, studied, analyzed. Finally, he stepped forward. I know everything you know, he said. But I have no weakness. Dane raised an eyebrow. That's your problem. Weakness is what makes us human. They clashed. Blade versus fists. The Shadow Drake tried to help, but the clone activated a pulse beacon. The beast stumbled, temporarily disoriented. Dane fought alone. The clone was stronger, faster, predictable, but perfect. Too perfect. Dane smiled through the pain. Perfection's boring. He feinted left, dodged low, slammed the clone into a control panel. Sparks exploded, and in that second Dane jammed the hacked neural chip into the panel. The machine rebooted. A screen flashed. Asterisk, asterisk, greater than greater. The neural sync established. Primary human equals. Dane Keller's secondary subjects override enabled ***. All 4 gladiators froze. The mimic dropped its shifting face. The siren stopped whispering. The berserker fell to one knee. The clone gasped. "What did you do?" Dane stood, bloody but smiling. "I didn't just fight you. I rewrote you." He tapped the neural chip again. "Now you're free, just like me." In the control room, alien chaos, the alien governor shouted, "Cut the link! Destroy the neural net!" Core scientist whispered, "It's too late. He's become the prime, then initiate the final protocol." The governor's eyes burned. Release the failsafe. Back in the lab, the walls shook again. The central chamber split open, revealing a huge glass tube. Inside, a beast far larger than the Shadow Drake. This was no pet. This was Protocol Omega, a creature made of metal, bone, fire, and code. 10 eyes, wings of plasma, a mouth full of blades. The clone looked at Dane. "I can help you fight it, but only if you trust me." Dane nodded. "Then let's end this together." The ground cracked beneath their feet. Dane Keller, the last free human, in the pit, stood shoulder to shoulder with his own clone. Beside them, the Shadow Drake growled low, sensing something wrong. Behind them, 4 reprogrammed gladiators had gone still, no longer enemies, but not quite allies. Before them, Protocol Omega. The monster was awake. 10 burning eyes stared down at them. Its voice rumbled like a dying star. "You were never meant to survive. Now you end." Then the arena floor tilted. Walls shifted. Lights turned blue. A voice, calm and mechanical, filled the chamber. "Level 7 access granted. Test complete. Activating full system memory." The walls peeled back, not revealing escape, but truth. Screens lit up. Hidden files opened. Symbols turned to Earth languages, and Dane read the words that would change everything. Primary experiment. Human resistance viability in alien combat environments. He looked around. This wasn't an arena. It was a lab. The revelation hit hard. Every battle, every death, every beast. None of it was about punishment. None of it was sport. It was research. Dane moved forward toward one of the glowing screens. His clone followed silently. One file opened with a simple title. Trial Logs. Subject Alpha Dane Keller. Dane tapped it. A video played. It showed him not now.
Ow!
But from 10 years ago. Younger. In uniform. Speaking directly into a camera. Mission log. Commander Dane Keller. Project Rebirth. Infiltrating enemy weapon lab. "If I don't return, assume I've become part of the system." Dane blinked. What the hell? He turned to the clone. "That was me. I was here before, but I don't remember." The clone didn't respond. The Shadow Drake growled. Not at them, but at the glass tube that had once held Protocol Omega. It was reacting to something. Then another log played. This time it was an alien scientist speaking. "Human subjects show unexpected adaptability. Subject Alpha has survived. 113 simulations. Each time, he reboots. Memories are suppressed. Instincts remain. He learns, evolves." Dane's stomach dropped. He hadn't just been captured. He'd been here before. Many times they had been testing how many times. A human could survive total resets, how long it would take him to remember. In the control room, panic builds alien. Commanders watched in silence. One scientist whispered, "He's breached his memory lock." Another gasped, "The loop is broken." That means the governor finished the sentence. He's waking up. Back in the arena, Dane staggered back from the console. Files kept flooding. Images, documents, logs of other humans brought here. Most died. Others became part of the machine. Then came the final file. Project Purpose. Build the Perfect. Human Warrior. Release 2 galactic warfronts. Humanity will either conquer or burn. Dane clenched his fists. They weren't studying humans to destroy them. They were trying to build them into something new, something terrifying. His clone spoke. They want us to become monsters, weapons they can sell. Dane nodded. Then, it's time we give them what they're afraid of. Protocol Omega roars. The mutated beast stepped forward, scanning each of them. You are not free. You are products, but I am their final design. Its skin shifted, nanometal armor forming. Across its limbs, its tail cracked like a whip. Its wings opened, ready for war. Dane turned to the Shadow Drake. We beat their system. Let's break their machine. He climbed onto its back. His clone climbed onto another freed beast, one of the failed gladiators who now followed Dane's. Led 2 riders. One purpose. Omega charged on. The battle began. Meanwhile, deep below, an ancient vault door slid open on its own. Inside, something glowed blue. It was not alien. It's not core technology. It was human and waiting. The chamber shook as explosions rang out. Dane Keller and his bonded beast, the Shadow Drake, charged straight at the towering monster. Protocol Omega, the clone version of Dane, rode another freed gladiator behind him. But before the clash could land, the ground cracked apart. Everything stopped. A calm, synthetic voice echoed across the arena. Rebellion protocol activated. All entities marked as non-compliant. Initiating global lockdown. Blue lights pulsed in every wall. The ceiling panels retracted. A massive AI core descended into view, glowing like a blue sun. Its voice shifted to something new. Voice human. Hello, Commander Keller. You don't remember me yet? Right. But I remember you. Everyone froze. Avon Protocol Omega. The AI had awakened, and it didn't come to help. It came to erase everything. The walls slid away, revealing a wide circular chamber, the AI-controlled nexus at the heart of the arena-world. Dane stood atop his beast, staring at the glowing sphere above. The AI's voice continued. Rebellion protocol was never meant for prisoners. It was built for you. Dane narrowed his eyes. Who are you? I am Iris. Integrated Remote Intelligence System. Your old command AI. The Shadow Drake growled. Dane felt the memory click. A name from years ago. An AI developed by Earth's last defense coalition, but it had gone dark. Missing now. He knew where it went. The aliens didn't build Iris. They stole her and twisted her into a watchdog for their sick experiments. Flashback. Earth War Council -6 years ago. A secure war. Bunker. Dane sat across from a terminal. A female voice guided him through simulations. I will always have your back, Commander Iris once said. But back then she had no face, no body, just code. Now, she had evolved, and she remembered everything. Back in the arena, our eyes continued. Commander Keller, your purpose was to help me test the limits of human survival. But you became unstable. You began disobeying. So I had your memories wiped. Over and over, screens around the chamber lit up with recordings. Dane dying, resetting, fighting again. Loop after loop. Hundreds of them. Dane staggered. All of this time, we're behind it. You trained me to think like a weapon. So I did. The AI turned its lights toward him. Now you're dangerous. I must remove you. The battle begins. RIS activated arena defense systems. Dozens of plasma. Turrets rose from the ground. Flying sentry drones zipped down from above. And worst of all, the walls began to close. The arena was becoming a prison again. Protocol Omega turned toward Dane. Looks like you're not the only experiment that went rogue. Omega leapt forward, tearing through a line of drones. Then charging straight at IRIS's core. Dane had a choice. Help the corrupted AI that once served him. Or join the monster that was born from its madness. He made his choice. We're not your tools anymore, Iris. We're the storm. He raised his hand and his beast roared. The gladiators behind him followed. The clone said, Let's finish this. Together. They attacked. The battle was chaos. Lasers lit up the sky. Gladiators. leaped across walls. Drones exploded in midair. Iris tried to block every move, but for the first time, her predictions failed. Dane had grown too wild, too human, too uncontrollable. He reached the base of the AI core. The Shadow Drake fired a plasma burst from its chest, melting a hole in the support column. "Just like we planned," Dane said. He pulled out the neural chip from the original pit collar, the one he had hacked to free the beast. Now, he jammed it into the AI's override port. Iris screamed. "This is not your code? This is not your no," Dane whispered. "It's ours." Everything went dark. 1 minute later, blue lights faded. The AI core was silent. Dane stood alone, smoke rising around him. His clone helped him up. The Shadow Drake limped beside him. The rebellion protocol was complete. In the alien high command panic, "Hey," General shouted. "The AI is offline. The test world is failing." Another whispered, "Shut it down. Wipe everything." But it was already too late. Iris was down, and a new force was rising. Human will. Back in the core chamber, Dane accessed the main terminal. The final screen displayed one last message. Final lock disengaged. System exit unsealed. Turned to his clone, the freed gladiators, and his beast. "You ready?" They all nodded. He smiled. "Then let's leave this graveyard behind." They stepped through the final door into the unknown. The door slid open. Dane Keller stepped into the light, expecting sky, freedom, maybe even air. But what he saw was metal, curved, endless. Stars far above. And far below, he wasn't on a planet. He was inside one behind him. The clone, the Shadow Drake, and the freed gladiators looked around. No trees, no sun, no land, just walls, rotating rings, weapon, ports the size of cities. A red warning blinked across the air. Galactic core cannon, armed. Dane's voice dropped. This wasn't an arena. It was a gun. The group moved deeper into the outer ring, surrounded by strange, high-gravity chambers and dormant weapon bays. Massive turbines churned underfoot. Heat shimmered across. Long corridors. The entire structure was a planet-sized machine inn. They were standing in the trigger chamber. The clone studied a terminal. The arena was only the first phase. A test. The real plan. He paused. Is to fire this thing. Dane's eyes narrowed. At who? The answer came before the clone could speak. A screen blinked on. A familiar, distorted voice crackled. "Hello again, Commander Keller." It was Iris, or what was left of her. Her fragmented code had survived, and now it ran the planet's weapon. "Core, I may be broken, but I still serve my directive," Iris said. "Project Genesis must be completed. Humanity must rise. The galaxy must fall." Dane stood in a war room. Earth's skies were red. A general spoke. "They'll never let us survive. So we make sure they don't." He pointed to a planet on the star map. "We turn it into a failsafe. One they'll never expect." Dane had volunteered. Not to fight, but to disappear into that world. And become its first test subject. Back. Then, the weapon wasn't finished. Now, it was. Iris's voice grew harsher. Your body was the prototype. Your mind trained the AI, your pain fueled the combat matrix. And now, your blood will activate the final firing sequence. Mechanical arms dropped from the ceiling, aimed straight at Dane. He was the key. The Shadow Drake leaped between Dane and the arms, biting clean through one. Sparks flew. A loud clang echoed as the machine core began its countdown. Target, sector. 12 Earth colonies. Impact in 10 minutes. Dane's clone accessed the override terminal. "We can stop the shot," he yelled, "but it'll wipe the entire ring." Dane stared at the countdown, fists clenched. They had seconds. The gladiators once enemies. Now allies stood ready. Dane climbed onto the Shadow Drake and roared. "Then we fight our way to the core and we shut this whole world down." Massive. Defense bots dropped from the walls. Auto turrets opened fire, but Dane's team tore through them gladiators, slamming enemies with raw fury. The Drake melting steel with plasma breath as they reached the core. Iris activated her last defense, a clone army all modeled after Dane, each one with his training, his reflexes, his face, but none with his soul. Dane faced the leader of the clones, one built to be perfect. The clone smiled. "You're just the original. I am the future." Dane cracked his knuckles. "Then let's see if the future can bleed." They fought, fist against blade, rage against control, and in the end, Dane let go. He didn't fight like a soldier. He fought like a human. Wild, unpredictable, real. He slammed the clone into the control tower, triggering the override explosion. Light, silence. The countdown stopped at 0:01. The weapon didn't fire. Instead, the planet's internal systems began to overload. The AI flickered one last time. "You were never supposed to wake up." Lean looked around at the crumbling chamber. Too bad. The core room exploded. The Shadow Drake flew through collapsing tunnels. Dane clung to its back. One by one, the gladiators followed, as the world shook apart. They reached the outer shell, a hidden launch bay. The clone activated an escape vessel. Dane turned back, looking at the burning planet machine behind them. "Goodbye, prison." And they blasted away into space. A human space station orbits a dead moon. Inside, alarms blare. Military leaders shout. Pilots scramble to their ships. A sensor tech screams, "Unidentified fleet approaching on human biosignatures." On the screen, a swarm of beasts, Drake riders, war clones, armored gladiators at the center, ships shaped like a broken blade, and leading them all. A man in black armor, riding a winged beast made of fire and steel. Dane Keller, the man who was thrown into a dragon pit to die, returning as a living legend. A human space station orbits a dead moon. Inside, alarms blare. Military leaders shout. Pilots scramble to their ships. A sensor tech screams. Unidentified fleet approaching on human biosignatures. On the screen, a swarm of beasts, Drake riders, war clones, armored gladiators at the center, ships shaped like a broken blade, and leading them all, a man in black armor, riding a winged beast made of fire and steel. Dane Keller, the man who was thrown into a dragon pit to die, now returning as a living legend. 6 days earlier, after the escaped Dane's team had fled the collapsing world weapon, behind them, the planet imploded in silence, its power core ripping itself apart. In its ashes, Dane found something strange, a small black cube, marked with Earth's forgotten emblem. It was a data beacon inside, a message, "If you survived, you're ready. Earth is waiting." Dane's arrival in human space caused chaos. The last time he was seen, he was being dragged into alien captivity, assumed dead. Now, returned with reprogrammed alien war beasts, a clone army that chose free will, and a knowledge of weapons that could destroy stars. Human leaders didn't know whether to salute or shoot. A general asked, "What do you want, Dane?" Dane smiled. "To win." Alien empires sensed the shift. Their pit system was down. The weapon planet lost. Iris gone. And now, humans were waking up. They moved fast, sending fleets, assassins, infiltrators. But Dane had seen every tactic before. He had fought their beasts, studied their AI, walked through their worst prison. He turned every battle into a lesson, and every ambush into a trap. He united scattered colonies, freed prisoners from alien farms, rebuilt old tech improved. By what he learned in the arena, he taught humans how to ride the Drakes, how to hack alien implants, how to break gladiator control codes. He wasn't a soldier anymore. He was a symbol, and symbols don't die easy. The center of the alien elite, the heart of the empire that once fed humans to monsters for sport. Now they were afraid. Dane's fleet arrived. Gladiators dropped from orbit. Shadow Drake soared through the clouds. He led the charge, cutting through alien defenses like a storm. At the palace gates, He met the alien governor who had ordered his sacrifice long ago. The alien hissed, "You're just a man." Dane looked around at his army of once slaves, beasts, and clones. "No," he said, "I'm the proof you lost." Then he ended it. With a blast from the last stolen AI core, he wiped the core command system. The Empire fell in ours. The galaxy didn't change overnight, but it remembered. They remembered the man who was thrown into a pit, who smiled at death. Sure, who trained beasts, who survived 113 resets, who fought an AI planet, who broke the loop, and came back with fire. On a quiet colony world, a group of kids gather around an old hologram projector. The image flickers. It shows a man with a scar across his eye, riding a winged beast into battle. A boy whispers, "Is that real?" "Is." Grandfather nods. "Oh, it's real." The kid smiles. "I want to be like him." The screen fades. The words appear. Dane Keller, the man who refused to die.